The gavel crashed like a gunshot in the Newark courtroom, its echo slicing through the humid air. Kate Solomon, 65, a black veteran cop with a gaze that could stop a street fight, sat rigid in her orange jumpsuit. Guilty, the judge declared. Abuse, murder, fraud. The words hit harder than any bullet she'd dodged in her 30 years on the force. Her hands, scarred from breaking up bar brawls and cuffing gang leaders, clenched the edge of the table. She hadn't done this. Someone had spun a web of lies so tight it choked her life away. Rain lashed the windows, a storm raging outside and within her. Who had framed her? And why now, after all these years? Before we get started with this story, kindly like, subscribe, and let us know where you're tuning in from. Stay tuned to the very end to uncover the truth. And if you find it intriguing, write a pleasing comment as it helps us serve you better. 25 years ago, Kate had been a legend in Newark's toughest corners. A cop who didn't just enforce the law but lived it with heart. In 2000, under a frostbitten bridge, she found 3 kids shivering in the dark. Malik, 14, Rosa, 12, and Jimmy, 10. Malik stood tall, his eyes fierce, shielding the younger 2 like a soldier. Rosa clutched a tattered sketchbook, her fingers blue from cold. Jimmy, the smallest, coughed into a dirty sleeve, his stomach growling loud enough for Kate to hear. "You're not staying here," Kate said, her voice steady but kind. She loaded them into her cruiser, ignoring the dispatcher's crackle about a robbery nearby. That night, she brought them to her cramped apartment, fed them hot soup, and gave them her own blankets. She made a vow. These kids were hers now. Kate wasn't soft. She'd grown up in a Newark housing project, daughter of a Vietnam vet who taught her to stand tall and swing hard. She joined the force at 22, earning her stripes in a world that didn't always welcome a black woman with a badge. Her strength was her shield against bullets, bias, and the chaos of the streets. But she had a weakness for strays. Stray dogs, stray dreams, stray kids. Malik, Rosa, and Jimmy became her purpose. She enrolled them in school, worked double shifts to buy their books, and stayed up late helping with homework. Malik dreamed of being a lawyer, his sharp mind soaking up every law book Kate could find. Rosa sketched vibrant worlds, her art a rebellion against the gray city. Jimmy, always hungry, found joy in cooking, his first omelet a lumpy gift for Kate. She believed in them, even when they faltered, even when Malik got suspended for fighting or Rosa cried over a broken paintbrush. But Newark wasn't kind. In 2010, Kate's world cracked. Her partner, Detective Ray Carter, was gunned down during a botched drug bust in an abandoned warehouse. The official report blamed a local gang, but Kate's gut screamed otherwise. Ray had been onto something. Whispers of dirty cops running drugs through the precinct. Kate dug deeper, her cop instincts razor sharp. She found a ledger in Ray's locker, coded entries pointing to payoffs and cover-ups. She reported it to Internal Affairs, but the ledger vanished. Her complaints were buried. Soon her tires were slashed, her mailbox stuffed with threats. "Back off, Solomon," one note read, written in jagged red ink. She didn't. For her kids, she kept fighting, even as the precinct turned cold, colleagues whispering behind her back. By 2025, the past roared back like a freight train. Kate was arrested in her own precinct, cuffs snapping on her wrists as her former captain avoided her eyes. The charges were a nightmare. She'd abused Malik, Rosa, and Jimmy, murdered Ray, and defrauded the department with thousands in stolen funds. The evidence was brutal. Bank records showing deposits she'd never seen, forged emails linking her to Ray's death, and witnesses claiming she'd beaten the kids bloody. Kate's heart shattered at that lie. She'd never touched them except to hug them, to pull them close when nightmares woke them. But Malik, Rosa, and Jimmy were gone, scattered after college. She'd lost touch, their lives pulling them to new cities, new dreams. She couldn't find them to testify, to tell the world she was their mom, not their monster. The trial was a slaughter. Prosecutor Vincent Hale, a slick man with a shark smile, tore into Kate. She used her badge to prey on vulnerable children, he said, his voice dripping venom. She killed her partner to cover her tracks and stole from the city she swore to protect. The jury, a mix of tired faces and hard stares, ate it up. Kate's public defender, a young man named Tin with sweaty palms, fumbled objections, and forgot key questions. Kate felt powerless, a foreign ache for a woman who'd once stared down a knife-wielding dealer without flinching. She'd always been the strong one, the rock. Now she was crumbling, her faith in justice eroding with every lie. In her cell, Kate's hope dimmed to a flicker. She wrote letters to Malik, Rosa, and Jimmy, her pen shaking. "I didn't do this," she scratched out. "I love you. Always will." She didn't know their addresses, so the letters piled up under her thin mattress. Days blurred into weeks, the cell's gray walls closing in. Then, one night, a guard slipped a note under her door. "They're coming." Kate's pulse spiked. Who? Her kids, or more enemies? The next morning, the courtroom hummed with tension. Kate shuffled in, shackles clinking, her eyes scanning the crowd. Her breath caught. There they were, Malik, Rosa, and Jimmy, now adults, standing shoulder to shoulder. Malik, 39, wore a tailored suit, his lawyer's briefcase gleaming. Rosa, 37, had paint stains on her fingers, her eyes fierce with purpose. Jimmy, 35, broad and solid, clutched a takeout container, his chef's hands steady. They'd found her. "Your Honor," Malik said, stepping to the podium, his voice like steel. "We have evidence to overturn this conviction." The room fell silent. Kate's eyes burned with tears she refused to let fall. She hadn't seen them in years, yet here they were, her kids, fighting for her. Malik laid out their case with surgical precision. He'd become a defense attorney, his childhood dream realized. He tracked down the witnesses who claimed Kate abused them. 2 were ex-cons, 1 a disgraced cop, all paid off by a shadowy figure tied to the precinct's old corruption. Rosa, now an artist with a gallery in New York, had used her connections to dig into Vincent Hale's finances. She found offshore accounts, money trails linking him to the same dirty cops Kate had exposed in 2010. Jimmy, a chef with a food truck empire, had overheard a retired officer at a Newark diner, bragging about framing Kate to protect the old guard. Together, they'd built a case stronger than the one that caged her. The twists came fast. Malik presented a USB drive. Its files recovered from a precinct server Kate didn't know existed. It held the missing ledger pages from 2010, detailing drug money funneled through the precinct. Ray's death wasn't a gang hit. It was an inside job to silence him after he'd found the same ledger. Kate's fraud was a fabrication, deposits planted in her name to discredit her. The courtroom buzzed as Malik played a recording, secretly taped by Rosa at a gallery event where Hale, drunk on champagne, admitted to orchestrating the frame-up. Solomon was too clean, he slurred. Had to bury her. Kate's heart soared, but fear gnawed at her. Would the truth be enough? The system she'd served had betrayed her. She glanced at her kids, Malik's jaw set, Rosa's eyes blazing, Jimmy's fists clenched. She'd been weak in this fight, stripped of her badge, her voice. But they were her strength now, her family forged in fire. The judge called a recess. In a holding room, Kate faced her kids. Rosa ran to her, throwing her arms around Kate's neck. "Why didn't you tell us?" she sobbed. Kate held her tight, then pulled Jimmy and Malik in, their warmth grounding her. "I didn't want to drag you back into my mess," she said, voice cracking. Malik shook his head. "You're our mom. Your mess is ours." Jimmy handed her a takeout box, his signature lasagna, still warm. "Eat? Ma, you're too skinny." Kate laughed, a sound she'd forgotten she could make. Rosa showed her a sketch, a vibrant portrait of Kate in her old uniform, badge shining. "I painted this for you," she said. Malik added, "And I'm not stopping until Hale's in cuffs." Kate's chest ached with pride, love, and a flicker of her old fire. Back in court, Hale fought dirty. He accused Malik of tampering with evidence, called Rosa's recording doctored, and sneered at Jimmy's testimony as hearsay from a cook. The jury shifted, uncertain. Kate's hope wavered, but Jimmy took the stand, his voice soft but unshakable. "Kate found us under a bridge, starving. She gave us a home. Worked doubles to buy my first chef's knife, Rosa's paints, Malik's law books. She's no abuser. She's a hero." He looked at Kate, his eyes wet. "She's our mom." The jury's faces softened, some wiping tears. The final twist came like lightning. A retired cop, Frank Russo, limped to the stand, his face ashen. "I can't live with this anymore," he said. He confessed to planting the bank records on Hale's orders, part of a scheme to protect the precinct's dirty secrets. The courtroom erupted, spectators gasping, reporters scribbling. Hale's face went pale, his shark smile gone. The judge banged her gavel, ordering silence, then halted the trial. "Pending investigation, Ms. Solomon's charges are suspended," she said. "She's free to go." Kate walked out of the courthouse into a drizzling dusk, her kids at her side. Malik gripped her hand. "We're not done. Hale's going down." Rosa nodded, fierce, and his buddies. Jimmy handed her another lasagna box, grinning. "For the road, ma." Kate's laugh was louder now, freer. She'd been broken, her strength sapped by a system that turned on her. But her kids, the ones she'd saved from the streets, had saved her back. They piled into Jimmy's food truck, parked nearby. Inside, it smelled of garlic and hope. Malik outlined their next steps: a civil suit against Hale, a push to reopen Ray's case. Rosa sketched ideas for a mural, justice for Kate, to cover a Newark wall. Jimmy cooked, flipping burgers with a grin. Kate watched them, her heart full. She'd been weak, but they'd reminded her who she was: a fighter, a mother, a cop who never gave up. As they drove through Newark's streets, Kate saw the city differently. It wasn't just a battlefield anymore. It was home, where she'd built a family from nothing. She'd faced lies, betrayal, and a cage, but she'd come out standing. Her kids were her legacy, proof that love could outlast any storm. So my dear, family isn't defined by blood, but by the bonds we forge through sacrifice and love. Lift up those who need you, because one day they might be the ones to lift you back when the world tries to break you. Be part of our community and share in these meaningful stories. Just hit like and subscribe. Don't forget to turn on the notification bell so you can start your day with inspiring lessons and heartfelt moments.